Hi folks, and welcome to Straight Tripping. Today I'm rolling with Phil, blue belt, and he is immediately looking to pass my guard. He's got me in a smash pass position with a overhook on my head. I have an underhook, and I'm trying to figure out what to do here. He ends up hopping onto side control, and I'm getting smashed pretty well here. So I managed to get a frame in on his hip and bump a bit, recovering half guard. Here Phil is up high and he's looking to pry up my left arm to get an underhook. While he's doing that, I'm clamping down on his left shoulder. Carlos Machado has a philosophy about making people on top uncomfortable, and by doing that, it makes them want to create space and do things that they shouldn't be doing when they're in the top position. So let's take a look at it again. Here, as I'm clamping down, what I like to do normally is use like my forearm across the face as a pry to move them in that opposite direction. So I'd be moving them to the right. But with Phil, he began to post his head down and get lower. So that gave me the opportunity to scramble here and reverse the position. And now I'm in half guard. So here we go. From this position here, Phil is looking to create some space, make some frames, and try to get up, but by doing so, he exposes his arm. So here you can see frames being made with his left arm. He's pushing away, but I managed to get my head in underneath his elbow there, and as soon as I do, I immediately go for an arm triangle. It's my favorite. So here I'm trying to pry open his leg here so I can escape my leg, but he ends up getting locked down. And that's a brilliant move on his part because it forces me to be too low on his shoulder so I can't get the necessary pressure to really strangle as necessary. And the other thing it does, if you look here on my right elbow, how far out I have it, and the reason it's out that far is because you can get rolled over when you're trying to go for an arm triangle if you don't have it out that far. It also gives you extra leverage for choking. But because he has the lockdown, he's forcing me to try to adjust my base and adjust my head position. And by doing that, it ends up bringing my elbow in, as you can see, and it takes that post away, or at least it minimizes the post and the effectiveness of it. So once he decides to bridge, and he uses good timing on this too, because you can see how my butt comes up higher in the air, and that really messes up my balance as well. So once he bridges and rolls, I'm gone. There's no stopping it. And yes, you can get arm triangles from the bottom, but they're much more difficult to finish from there. And I tried to use a butterfly hook there to try to sweep them back over, but I just didn't have the position. I should have scrambled way sooner, and perhaps I would have been able to get back on top. But Phil is on top now, and he's in smash mode, and that's a problem. So I managed to get full guard here, and I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with it. I was thinking triangle, and you'll see here my leg comes up here for a top lock position, and as soon as I do that, Phil steps up like he's going to stack me, and I let go of everything because I do not want my vertebrae vaporized by a 250-pound beast. So here we kind of start off a bit more gently, and I'm looking for some sort of leg entanglement here. I think if I can maybe grab his left leg, that I can either get a heel hook or a sweep of some sort. Phil does a good job hand fighting, and then he gets that underhook on my leg, which is really disturbing. It makes you react immediately because you feel like your knee is compromised. And so here I'm on bottom, and Phil has taken all the space away now. And so my frames are pretty ineffective. I still have a half guard here now, but I'm almost like in a cradle position. Phil just has to get that arm up over the head, and he does here, but he doesn't go on the head. He goes the length of the spine, which I find is a really good control position. It really stops you from moving out. And now he's looking to pass the guard, which he does. He's in side control now. He steps over into mount. Really nice work. Now, I grab his ankle and then throw it into my half guard, pull it back a little bit. Just, you feel like you're a little safer in this position, but not really that much safer. In fact, maybe if I was in mount, I'd be able to have a bit better movement, but I managed to control his foot here, and it's just giving him that little bit of extra challenge to get up higher on my body here. And I'm using two arms to sort of fight this position that he's pushing down on my arm, because it feels like he's going for an arm triangle, and then he grabs my arm and pulls it over to the other side, trying to flatten me out, which it pretty much does. So now I'm in half guard. Phil's looking to push down on the knee so he can get the staple on that leg and then go to mount. Here we go. He looks for a staple with his right leg there to try to slide his leg through. Doesn't look like he's too super concerned about rushing through this technique, which is really nice to see. I try to go for a trap and roll sweep here, but I missed that. Let's take a look and see why. I use my left leg to trap his leg. I'm going for a sweep here. I trap his right arm, and then I bridge hard, but Phil does a good job posting with his left arm and then pulling his right arm out to be able to post again. There is invisible jiu-jitsu involved there, and I didn't pull it off quite right. He ends up in 3/4 mount here again, and I think he's pretty comfortable with that. I don't think like that feels like a bad position for him. And that's time, thank God, because he was getting closer and closer and closer, which is kind of what we've been working on in class, basically progressing slow and steady into mount, and then go for the finish. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.